Well, it certainly is interesting to run into a Pokémon trainer at this time of the night at the Mt Coronet Pass. You should try to go through this pass at daytime. I don't know why you're here at nighttime. As you can see, this place is infested with wild Pokémon. And trust me, Zubat is the least of your worries. If you're inexperienced, you never know, you might find yourself trapped in a trap by a Pokémon. For example, look right here. You can't see anything, right? But now that this Geodude knows we're staring at it, it's gonna poke out and look at us. See? There's a Geodude right there. And it went back into hiding. You never know where a wild Pokemon may be, especially at night when it's really hard to see. You never know what's gonna come at you, so I really recommend you go through this place at daytime. You have 2 gym badges. Look, I know everybody thinks that they're more than capable of handling themselves, but 2 gym badges for Mt Coronet is not good enough. I'm not really a trainer, but I think even I might have Pokemon stronger than you. I have a Hitmonchan, I have a Grappler, I have a Rampardos as well, but even I try to be very careful when I go through this place at night. Well, I have to do it because I'm actually a hiker, a Pokemon hiker, and I'm also an archaeologist. They go very well hand in hand, right? Might as well do some archaeology if I'm just gonna hike anyways. And from what I've learned is that Mt Coronet seems to be the centerpiece of Sinnoh's history. And it's funny because, let me show you the map of Sinnoh. As you can see from the map of Sinnoh, Mt Coronet is like at the dead center of the Sinnoh map. And turns out Mt Coronet is also the dead center of the history of Sinnoh. It seems like ancient people that used to live in Sinnoh, they really thought that Mt Coronet was a special place, and they could leave behind drawings on the wall that you see right over there. You see that drawing? That's one of the many drawings that have been left over at Mt Coronet by ancient Sinnoh civilization. I think they knew that this place was so difficult for people to get to that anything they leave here will definitely stay intact for future civilizations. What I want you to do now is to get your attention and ask you to divert it back at the drawing over there. As you can see, there's a bunch of depictions on the wall, and it's very interesting. What could they be, right? Well, based on my research, it seems like these are depictions of legendary Pokemon of Sinnoh. But they don't have to be Sinnoh necessarily. How do we know that? Well, if you look at the very first row at the second Pokemon, that is a Regigigas. Regigigas is very closely related to Regis, Regirock, Registeel, and Relicanth. These Pokemon are more closely related to Hoenn than they are to Sinnoh. And that tells us something, right? Okay, if you were an archaeologist, what would you say that tells us? Very good. See, you're learning on the job. It means that the ancient Sinnoh civilization had some sort of knowledge of Pokemon that were not exclusive to Sinnoh. That means they must have communicated with people from other regions as well. You can use this deductive reasoning to get to a very good conclusion, saying that ancient Sinnoh civilizations did have some sort of connection with other regions as well. And while we're on the topic of ancient Sinnoh, it gets a little bit wordy to keep saying ancient Sinnoh, right? Well, in another place in the Mt Coronet, we found a wall that had the name for this region, how the ancient Sinnoh civilization used to call this region, and they called it Hisui. So you can say that the people that lived were Hisuians. Very interesting name, and honestly, I don't know what the connection is. Usually names are derived by taking another name. I don't know how Sinnoh can be related to Hisui, but it is what this whole region used to be called. Now we call it Sinnoh. But I don't want to bore you with all the archaeology talk. I can tell you a little bit about Mt Coronet if you're interested, because after all, this is the most important center spot of Sinnoh. Would you be interested in that? Yes? Okay, great. See, with the Mt Coronet, this place is not very safe. Even though this pass exists, it's recommended that all trainers try to go through it during daytime, unless you are a very strong and capable trainer, and by that, usually what people are talking about is at least 7 or more gym badges, usually 8. If you have 8 gym badges, it's fine, but you should still be careful. A lot of the stronger Pokemon usually resides on the upper level of Mount Coronet, so the closer you get to the top, the more stronger Pokemon you face, the rougher the climate becomes, and just in general, it's very hard to keep going. You have to really stockpile on a lot of potions, a lot of different items to just get there, and just for one person to go there by themselves, it's very hard. I've been there, I've gone up once, and that was also in a big team, and even then it was so difficult. You see all sorts of very strong Pokemon up there, trust me, and it starts snowing as well, so it's a very strong blizzard at the top. But if you do manage to get to the top, there's actually the Spear Pillar up there. And from what we know, Spear Pillar used to be a place where, ancient Hisuians, they used to communicate with the legendary Pokemon of Sinnoh. We don't know what happened, but it seems like it was broken down in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it was because of time, maybe some sort of event happened that caused its destruction, but now it's called Spear Pillar, but you'll be lucky to find one pillar that's still standing, completely upright. Yeah, it's very high up. It's at the very top of Mount Coronet. I would even say that, it's almost like a staircase to the heavens. It's that high up. But imagine if there was a staircase that went even further than Spear Pillar. You would be somewhere in space or something, I don't know. But Spear Pillar is really high up. And that's what's at the top. Usually it's recommended that if you want to call out the legendary Pokemon of Sinnoh, that's the spot everybody used to go to. So that's your best bet. But I'm sure, you're not going to see any legendary Pokemon. I've never seen a legendary Pokemon. Everybody comes to this world, hears stories about the legendary Pokemon, and then they die. That's the end of it. So I don't think you'll ever have a need to go up there, to be honest, quite frank with you. But that's what I know about Mount Coronet. It's a very, very beautiful place with a very rich history of ancient civilizations, but it's not safe for people like you to be going through it at this time of the night. Okay? Alright, awesome. So you said you were a Pokemon trainer, right? If you don't mind, can I see your team real quickly? Oh, that's great. Well, it seems like you have a Buneri. In case you don't know, you have to increase the bond with your Buneri to make it evolve. It's not just going to evolve by battling more and more. How you do that, you gotta figure it out, but you should increase your friendship with this Buneri to make it evolve. But if you want my opinion, I think you're not that prepared to go to Heartdrum City and challenge the 3rd gym. From what I know, the 3rd gym is actually very, very difficult, and you should be a lot stronger to challenge it. But you have other opportunities to go to other places as well, so you should be fine. Yep. Yeah, well, good luck with what you're doing. I'm just gonna go the other way where you came from. If you're going back over the other side, that one, where I came from, I can tell you all is clear. You don't have to worry about anything. Just keep going, and hopefully nothing will happen. Most of the Geodudes that you saw right over there, they're pretty harmless. They're just trying to take a nap, but they gotta be careful of any possible threats, so they keep an eye on us. But as you can see, that guy never popped out again, because he's just taking a nap. He knows we're not a threat. Alright, thank you very much for accommodating my request of going through this place really quickly. And please try to make sure you never come back here unless you are strong enough. And you know what I mean by strong now, okay? Alright. You have a good night. Stay safe. Bye.